Our line. Oh,
hey you, come on, sit down. You're sitting at the grown-ups table. I'm your host, Jesse Pimpinella, and as always, my partner in crime,
John Jacobs.
Thank you so much, and I hope you're all having a great evening. Tonight is a big night for us. We're very excited about this. We are doing our first monthly comedy night at the grown-ups table. So we're very excited about this. We have three hilarious comics that have been performing all over the area that we are big fans of ourselves and are excited to have. We have Cecil Heyman, we got Amanda Ramirez, and we got Ty Moore, who was on the show last week. Before we go any further, make sure you like our page, make sure you give us a share, and then if you can't catch the entire episode tonight, hop over to YouTube. Hit the bell, hit the subscribe and everything, and you can watch us all the time on our At the Grown Ups Table YouTube channel. But this is exciting, John. We're a variety show. So this is like, we've been doing interviews, we've been talking about pop culture, and now we're going to have some stand-up comedy on here.
We are, and we're really excited for this. This is something that Jesse and I have not only been talking with each other, but we've also been soliciting this idea with other people, and we are really, really pleased to finally kind of bring this to fruition and do a comedy show for you. You know, there's crazy stuff going on in the world right now. Yes. We hope anybody's watching, wherever you are, hopefully you're safe and everybody's good. You know, disconnect from that for an hour. Come laugh with us. We wanted to do this show to entertain everybody and really showcase local comedy and the comedians that we work with, and kind of let you guys see some sets from people who literally work their ass off at entertaining people. And during these COVID times, it's made it a little bit more difficult. And so we really want to showcase the comedians that we have on that local level, and people that we work with, and people that we respect and admire, and people that we think are going to bring you a lot of laughs. And that's what today's show is all about. It's all about laughing. It's all about having fun. It's all about disconnecting from reality for an hour and just really enjoying yourself. I think we all have a beverage tonight. I mean, it's one of those days. And we're really excited to bring this to everybody. So thank you for watching.
Oh, thank you all for watching. But let's talk about our first comic. This first comic is one of my favorite comics to watch, especially on stage live, because, and I'll tell a quick little funny story. There was a room we did, it was an open mic, and it got crashed by a bunch of people from this political office.
Oh,
and
no way.
It was just disruptive. Nobody can get a joke in edgewise. But this guy, Cecil, he won that whole audience over. He cracked everybody up because he just has such a personable, conversational crowd work skill that I envy on every single level as a comedian. Hate him a little bit for it. It's so he draws you in. So I'm very excited to bring this guy on. So without further ado, please, everybody, give it up for Cecil Heyman, everyone.
Woo! There he is.
Guys, first of all, Jesse, I am honored by what you just said. I appreciate the shit out of that. I remember wasn't it like the Ohio House Republicans?
Yeah.
I don't even remember all I said to him, but yeah, I remember that night. That night was fun.
It was.
I love when terrible shit happens to an open mic.
I feel like that happens a lot, right?
Like I love when, like, if it's a bachelorette party. Oh my god! Go in on people. It's so much fun. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm going to be doing a different style, I guess, of stand-up than what I usually do tonight. I think I'm going to tell some stories.
All right.
Doing like punchline, setup, repeat, doing it online. I mean, I get that a lot of people have been doing it and doing it well. I haven't been doing it well. I feel like it's not a thing for me. So I think I'm going to tell some stories tonight. I will start out with a little bit of jokes. It has been crazy today watching what's been going on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
That has been absolutely fucking bananas. It's like if my inner monologue and personality decided to do something, it'd have been that. I'm not gonna, I don't mean that in a way that, like, I support Donald Trump. I mean that in a way it's like, hey, this seems like a crazy mess. Wild shit. It's been weird being a comedian in the time of Trump. I remember I did a show the night that he got elected. Which, Jesse, were you part of that, the Ethel thing?
Yeah,
you remember that shit?
I wasn't at that, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
how
I do.
Mood changed so drastically as the show went on. I was on stage when he won Florida. We had it on a projector in the background. I'm like 2 minutes in, and then Donald Trump wins Florida, and then everyone's like, "Oh fuck, oh no," and I'm like, "Guys, do you remember when we thought 9/11 was the worst thing possible?" Well, it turns out this is also possible. It was hard to do comedy that night. It was hard to people. It's been hard to be a comedian since, just because everyone, like at the beginning of his term, like, Donald Trump's president. You must love being a comedian. So much material just given to you. And I'm like, no, I don't. I can't do anything with this. In fact, people love to ask you, what do you think of Donald Trump? I'm like, what do I think of Donald Trump? Not much. I think it'd be great if he was really good at magic tricks. I think that would make things way more fun. I think it's like, pull a coin behind your ear or something like that. Especially him and Mike Pence, because Mike Pence would blow smoke up his ass and be like, Donald, you're the best at magic tricks. But wouldn't it be weird if Donald was humble? He's like, no, Mike Pence. A lot of people work really hard to be good at this, and we call them illusions. I don't know. It's been nuts. I'm gonna tell. Drinking Old Crow on the rocks. Decided to try that. Fucking John, it's better than you think it would be. Honestly. I've had nicer whiskeys that taste worse on the rocks. I'm not even kidding. This is not that bad. This might be a new thing.
I'm gonna try it.
Oh no!
You should try it. It's honestly not bad. But I want to tell a story about when I was in my younger days. I used to do a lot of narcotics. Jesse. My first open mic.
Yeah.
I chugged a Mad Dog 2020, a PBR 24 ouncer, did probably close to a half gram of cocaine, and then ate a Percocet.
Buried the lead.
Because I was really nervous. I was so nervous. And that made me less nervous. Thank you, John. Hopefully the audience is laughing as much. I'm gonna tell this story. And don't judge me by it. Have either of you ever felt like you're having a heart attack?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. There was this one night that I stayed up all night doing cocaine off of my MacBook Pro. I'm advertising that I have a MacBook Pro because I think it makes me sound like I'm a busy person. Like I still have this MacBook Pro. I was up all night doing cocaine, and I had to work the next morning. So I texted my boss. I was like, "Hey, I've been up all night doing cocaine. Can I not come into work today?" I worked at a head shop. I worked at a bong store, so I could just say those things. And she was like, "No, no one can cover you. You have to come into work." I was like, "Okay." "Yeah, fine, I'll come in." I've had no sleep. And like 20 minutes into my shift, I just start getting these wild chest pains. Like it's like I can feel my chest vibrating. I'm like, I'm getting chest pains. I think I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, jeez.
So I go up to her and I ask her, I'm like, "Hey, I don't want to freak you out, but I think I'm having a heart attack. And if this goes on for another hour or so, I'm going to do something about it." She was like, yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, man.
So it goes on for another hour or so. And I'm like, man, I feel like I need to go to the hospital. So I tell her, hey, I'm going to get an Uber to the hospital because she didn't want me to drive. And in reality, I just ducked out back and hopped into my car. So I'm not paying for an Uber to the hospital. But on the way to the hospital, I thought to myself, what if you're not having a heart attack? And you don't want to spend that hospital money if you're not having a heart attack.
Okay.
So what I did was drive to a CVS Minute Clinic. And I go in there and I wait in line. Someone's waiting in line to talk to the pharmacy people. And then I finally get up there and I was like, hey, how do I check into the Minute Clinic. He's like, well, you have to go over to that computer, that kiosk over there, and you type in your symptoms, and then you'll be put into a line and all that stuff. So I go over there. I'm clacking around. There is no mention of heart attack as part of your problems for the Minute Clinic. So I go back up to the desk, and I'm sweating. I'm not looking good. And I'm like, hey, I think I might be having a heart attack. Is there any way I can just find out for sure if I'm here before I go to the hospital? And he goes, let me get a pharmacist. So we get the pharmacist, and I told the pharmacist, I'm like, hey, man, I'm like, seeing spots. My chest hurts. My arm hurts. I think I'm having a heart attack. And he goes, you know what you should do? I'm like, what? He's like, you should go to the fucking hospital. And he said fucking in front of like all the children and women in the store, which I thought was super inappropriate. And so I was like, okay, I'll take your advice. And I hop back in the car, and then I realized on Google Maps that there's an urgent care really close to me. Okay. So I decided to go to an urgent care instead of the hospital because it just seemed cheaper in my mind. And I go to the urgent care, and I talk to the lady, and they take me back, and there's a doctor, and he's the same doctor that saw me a couple years ago for another issue with this urgent care. And he was told me to go to the hospital then. So I'm pretty sure he's going to tell me to go to the hospital now. And he wants me to go to the hospital. To do an EKG, which is like pictures of your heart and all that shit. And he comes back and he's like, so you're not having a heart attack right now, but you definitely could have had a heart attack. And I was like, oh shit, that sounds serious. What should I do? And he says, go to the fucking hospital. Yeah. He made me promise him that I would go to the hospital before I went home. Like that I would check out of there and go to the hospital. They wanted to call an ambulance, which I was not going to let them do. I don't have $2,000 for a wee-woo ride. Okay? It's fucking expensive.
What did you call that?
A wee-woo ride. Yeah, I don't have $200 or $1,000 for a wee-woo ride. I'm not going to the hospital in an ambulance. And on my way out the door, I look back at the lady that checked me in, and I go, I'm not going to the fucking hospital. I'm gonna whisper.
Oh man!
And I went home, and I had Estrella watch me while I slept, and I stopped breathing a couple times during my sleep.
Oh.
But who knows? Hey, that could have been something from before. I had to slap my chest a couple times to get me breathing again. But the point is, I never went to the hospital. And the message of my story is, if you ever think you're having a heart attack, just wait it out. You're probably fine. You're probably fine.
You're probably fine.
That's my set. I don't know what to do for the Zoom thing.
So I have first of all, bravo.
Bravo.
Excellent story.
Can we show some love in the comments section to Cecil? My God, what a funny story.
How do I look at the comments?
He almost died. Right?
Well, the comments. Well, right now we have Evan so far. Welcome.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, wow. You can show them on the thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got Powell here.
I do love how
the production value, guys. I gotta say, I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you.
I would not know how to do any of this stuff.
We aim to please here at the grown-ups table. So
it's clearly run by grown-ups.
I have to say, Cecil, and ever since I met you, which I actually met Cecil my very, very, very first open mic I ever did in my entire life.
Was that at Tree Bar?
No, that was at Bossy Girl, and that's when I did the whole set about dicks. It was nothing but 5 minutes.
Okay.
As my very first set I've ever done in comedy, other than the charity show that I did with my buddy a couple of months before that, but really going after comedy at that point. That was my first one that I did. And yeah, it was all dick jokes, 100%, 5 minutes of dick jokes. But I remember Cecil is out back, and you were sitting at one of their tables out back, and anyone that's gone to Bossy Girl knows exactly what the back looks like. And he's just like all kicked back with his feet up and everything. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, nothing. He's like, your first time doing comedy? I'm like, yeah. He's like, don't do it. And I'm just like, oh, I love this guy.
That sounds like him.
Comedy's the worst choice you can make for your life. If you're trying to build an American dream, comedy is not.
It is. And if you ask anyone who does comedy, they all have the same answer. Don't do comedy.
Just stop. Yeah.
That's why I also show my tits.
Yeah, she shows her tits too.
Yep.
And that works, right? It's whatever you got to do to pay the bills.
I mean, I think that's what helped me do comedy so much quicker is also I already show my tits.
Yeah.
I was already a whore, but I've always been a clown whore.
This comic's gonna show tits. I love this. I imagine some barfly is doing that. Just tits.
Well, I remember at that show, that was back when Cecil had his I'm going to be bald with the big beard look, and I'm going to look like a tough biker. It was hilarious. Like,
I know what you're talking about, but anytime I do that, I think it just looks better, and people are like, oh, you look like a tough guy. I'm like, I'm not a tough guy, like, at all.
I thought you were a tough guy.
The first time I met him, he like looked like that, and I was like, "Ooh, who's this tough guy?" And then I saw like his comedy sets on YouTube, and I was like, "Okay, he's funny too, all right." But then like when he was like trying to talk to me because I was at a burlesque show, and he's like trying to mac on me, but also he's like not being a tough guy at all. Like he's shy and weird. And I literally had to like walk up and like diddle his stomach, like, bitch, come outside with personal cigarette.
Diddle his stomach? What was that? I did diddle his stomach.
Like, I'm about to shave my head again because like I'll show the crowd.
Yeah, man, there it is. Oh, there it is. There it is.
I'm a bald boy. I'm going bald.
So, Cecil, got a question for you.
Yes.
What on earth possessed you to start doing comedy? What was the switch that was flipped in your mind? You're like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do comedy.
So I had wanted to do it for like maybe 2 years before I did my first open mic. But I was living off of East Maynard where it dumps out into High Street, right across from Scarlet and Gray. And they had their open mic night on Tuesdays. And finally, I got out of a bad breakup. And this girl that like I was kind of seeing, but we were more friends. It was complicated. She said, you need to go do this comedy. She said, you need to go do a set. So you should check it out. So I go to Scarlet and Gray to watch. Oliver Gray is the host. Jesse, do you remember Oliver Gray?
I remember Oliver Gray, yes.
Okay. He was the host. And then you remember Aaron, the guy? No, Aaron Ramirez. Remember Aaron Ramirez?
A little bit before my time, but I know of him.
Okay. He was doing his set, and hey, babe, can you grab me more whiskey and ice?
Right
in the middle of the story. Hey,
no, Aaron Ramirez was doing his set, and he said something. He called me out while I was in the audience. He said, you know, I had a pretty big beard at the time, and he was like, "Oh, I love your beard. How'd you grow a beard like that?" You know, he's doing this thing. And I'm like, oh, I just sit on the toilet and push real hard, and it comes out. And then Oliver Gray comes up to me, and he's like, hey, man, do you do stand-up? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, you should give it a shot. Because me and Aaron Ramirez went back and forth quite a bit. And then the next week, I started doing stand-up. I did my first set. I was terrified. There's a clip of it on my Instagram, actually, because one of my friends took video, and then I started doing the Scarlet and Gray open mic every week. Did that for like 4 weeks, and then I started going to Shrunken Head.
Yes, which is kind of the mecca.
Huge show.
Who's the bitch who told you to do comedy? Now I want
Nicole. What's her face? The one that. I don't know, she's got like platinum, but I can't remember her last name.
And I'm sure you fucked a lot of Nicole, so I'm just trying.
Well, let's jump over to the comment section because you're getting a little bit of love here, Cecil. We got Growing Up Stable. Holy shit, it's Cecil Heyman. So Ryan, that's a very nice.
Okay.
He's showing love.
The sideways laughing faces are the best kind.
I'm amazed that you can show that while we're streaming. That's fucking cool.
Oh yeah, that's why
I don't know how to do anything technologically.
He
so
literally,
I'm very impressed.
When we set up, internet, he literally looked at the plug in the wall and the modem and went, "Can you do it?"
Yeah. I'm not very good with technology.
Clearly.
Granted, I am like an IT support professional.
Well, there you go. Any final thoughts before we wrap up and bring out our second comedian? And obviously, the two of you are going to stay on for the rest of the show with us while we showcase our other comedians. But any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. I'm glad you guys are doing this. This seems very set up the right way.
This is actually funner than the other ones that we've been in and watched.
This is definitely the most I've enjoyed doing one of the internet shows during this pandemic.
And that's big because you know how much you don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it usually, but you guys are doing it right. I like it.
I really very much appreciate that. That means a lot to us, and that's really what we're going for. So the fact that you recognize that and you support it and enjoy it, that means the world to us. So thank you.
No, this feels engaging. I like it.
Thank you so much. No, it really does mean a lot. Sorry, I keep wheeling away. She keeps getting away from me.
Oh,
put her up there.
Everybody likes
Put her up
dogs.
on the camera.
Baby.
We just got like 10 more views now.
Put her face up there.
This is
How
how
long
you get likes.
have you had her?
We've had her since the 2 weeks before Christmas. So
Aww,
I'm up now. So
baby.
Put her little face in the camera for me. Oh, little babe. Oh my God.
There you go. Cecil set closes out with a cute dog picture. There it is.
There it is. All right. So why don't we get our next comic up on the virtual
Who is it,
stage.
Jesse? Who's our next comedian?
Our next comic coming to the stage. She is. I first saw her perform at Wild Goose, and I remember one of my favorite moments with her was she did a headlining gig, and she dressed. Here's the thing: she came in 2 outfits, which I love. That she came in this is the green room outfit, and then when it was headline time, it was like bam! Like, oh wow! Like I mean, she told some of those personal stories, and I love when a comic gets really deep into their own psyche, their backstory, everything, because you leave a piece of your soul on stage for us to get to know. And this is what this comic does every single time. She leaves a piece of her soul on stage. So let's please give it up, get the crowd going crazy in the comment sections for Amanda Ramirez.
Oh my God, I'm on now, and my name is spelled with 1 extra vowel. Thank you so much. It's fine. It's fine. It feels like I never left work today.
I had nothing to do with it.
No, it's totally fine. It's just like I never left work. I'm at one of those places where they did a big gaggle of minority hires, and I'm there. I don't know what they classify me as. Am I Latina or am I Black? I don't know. The owner has a Spanish last name, but she is definitely a very small white lady, and she was bonding with me on how we have Spanish-like names, but we don't necessarily qualify. Is that unethical? We don't have an HR.
I think that might be worth a HR conversation.
There is no HR. There's no
And you're
HR.
you're like very light skinned too, so that's like, how are you gonna disprove?
Yeah, I have no idea. Has anybody ever mistaken me for Dominican or Puerto Rican? Anybody? You?
No one's gonna admit that, except for just the appearance.
I'm admitting it because I'm white and I apologize, okay?
I mean, I thought you were Jewish for 3 years.
Amanda, I thought you were white this whole time. I'm just...
Thank you. It's this. I got a lot of this shit going on. I think you know a little bit about how this feels. The first time I get to shake my hair around, this is a good feeling for a Black girl. I can just do this for hours. It's good.
Oh
it feels
my God.
great. That's kind of how you feel about. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you. I don't know if I want to share this with you. I think this might be a private moment, but whatever. We're live. I think I might have had my first sex dream with you in it, Estrella.
Oh my
And
god!
last night.
Get in line,
But
bitch.
I promise you we didn't have sex. I promise you we didn't have sex. It was really weird. It happened last night. We were just listening to really loud, you were listening to really loud music and like having a full body orgasm from the vibration of the music. And I walked in and I was like, oh my God. I was like,
I love how you had a dream from my post. That's hilarious.
This happens more than you would think, Amanda. Don't worry.
I believe
but I didn't
you.
I didn't get in there or anything. It was just like me being like, ugh.
Yeah, we were both like just like having telepathic sex through the music. So we were technically having sex with the music, not with each other. But
I love
like,
that. That's so respectful. That's so respectful of my trans identity.
I respect you. You know that.
Is that like in Demolition Man where they put those hats on and touch each other and have sex that way,
or just straight up could have Freddy Krueger like powers and be able to get inside people's dreams?
Ooh, there we go.
So
yeah, I respect you too, but like I'm not gonna lie, like before I thought you were white, then I thought you were Mexican, and now that I know you, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I'm well hung. Yeah, I am
honestly
well
that made me hornier, and I'm gonna dream about you tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Oh man, wow.
I got a big dick.
I'm
somewhere.
sorry. This is why I told people he shouldn't have me sit next to him on this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I let this happen.
know. All right. Well, I never really considered myself to be a comedian, and I always told myself, don't call me a comedian unless I get paid. Well, I got paid and I became a comedian, but like I still doubt that, especially with like quarantine and stuff, just because like I don't write anymore. I don't give a fuck about anything anymore. But just today I got a job offer to take a huge pay cut, and I'm actually ready to live in my car for my dream. So I think I'm still a comedian. I think I still am. Yeah, I mean,
that's the biggest qualifier.
Yeah, it's a huge pay cut. I mean, I'm not gonna move to Chicago or anything. That place fucking sucks. It's gross. I hate Chicago. I do. All right. I think Chicago is the new Cedar Point for white people. All right. And you know why, John? That reaction tells me you know why. Because it gives you a thrill. I get to move into the South Side, and there's bullet holes on the side of my car when I wake up. But it's okay. It's Chicago. Like, that's fine, man. Okay, we're Chicago. It's great. It's me. Yeah. And so I would rather be caught standing on the side of like Livernois Road in Detroit, butt naked at 4 a.m. And you know there's no standing in Detroit. It's illegal. Than be caught walking around the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. Okay, I'm serious. It's going down. I promise you. Oh, Chicago! Don't ever sell me a trip or even buy me a ticket to any show in Chicago. I'll just politely decline. I'm a nice person. I'm not going to shit on you to your face or anything. I'll just be like, oh, that's sweet of you. Let me Venmo you some money for your time and effort, and see if somebody else can go in my stead. I won't tell you that you're a fucking idiot. But, you know, as I'm kind of weighing my options of, do I quit my job? Do I stay at my employer? Do I go for this new opportunity? You know, I do have a few people that like to chime in and say, don't quit your job, Amanda. You're really good at what you do. Like, really good. Like, you help people and you're fantastic. Like, and then I just kind of look at them like, I'm really good at oral sex, but anybody has yet to write me a check for that. And actually, I'm a little pissed off.
Maybe somebody will write you an anonymous check after this show. It'll show up in the mail.
You never know.
Not even a Cash App donation.
Yeah, Cash App Ramirez, RUHMEEDZ. anybody who's ever received a blowjob from me, go ahead and send me some Kizash. I am pretty expensive, so from here on out, it's $500 and up. But if we have grandfathered blowjobs donation, I'll take donations. Y'all know who you are, Facebook. You know who you are. God, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, you know, if I were to go into the business, you know, what would I do? Would I wear a female condom? Would I, you know, what's the safe way? You know, I think I need to protect myself because I can't trust these dirty motherfuckers. Like, you can't. So you gotta look out for number one. The only problem is the inverted condoms. They only sell them on Amazon. They don't sell them at CVS anymore. I heard they sold them at the Garden. Somebody told me that. So I might
feel like I should know that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Doug may have told me that they are at the Garden, so I need to look into that. But as far as that,
I don't know. Are we gonna trust?
I feel like you should definitely get the female condoms over, you know, having to bury your abortion.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly. I don't want to get my abortion fitted for a little white tux. I'm not.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And
then, like, do I have to like take the seams apart to like adequately like measure it? I don't know.
Amanda, please post that on Facebook immediately because like I can't because I don't have a uterus. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Funny.
That's hilarious. I just sit on my laptop. Please.
Jesse is so against it. Jesse is so much like, no, we're not talking about
this. I'm just laughing because I love this type of humor. And I'm just like, yes.
And like my position right now is just thinking how adorable a little like fetus would look in a little
fetus.
Would you like the fetus in the jar and house and
wouldn't that be
you better post that on Facebook, not
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those.
There you go.
Anyway, go on with your set story. That was cool.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. I mean, I think female condoms will be the wave of the future only because like when it comes time to like go to bar mitzvah or something, like you don't know, shit could get crazy. It's gonna start taking off. All right. You want to be prepared. By the next time I have an encounter, nobody will have to ask me and be dead ass serious. Like, you want me to put a condom on, baby? Why the fuck do men always ask that? Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, don't they? Estrella, doesn't man always ask, you want me to put a condom on?
Listen, it's different between you and me because, like, for me, it's like, I don't want to get AIDS. Somebody's like, oh, God, I hope I don't get AIDS. I can't get pregnant, so AIDS is the only thing.
I might rather get AIDS than have to buy a tiny tux for a little gray fetus.
That's a tough situation to be in right there.
One AIDS, please. Yeah, that sounds okay.
I just can't get over the thought of a fetus in a little tub. Oh my God, it's so cute.
It just sounds like
I would love to eat that.
Yeah, kind of like a Baby Yoda situation. All right, we're gonna draw it up.
No,
it named it Grogu.
Don't bring Grogu into this.
Hold on. There are so many people that don't know that Grogu is his name. I don't know. Do we not give a shit?
They know by now.
It's been like 3 weeks. I say we're good.
Okay.
Grogu is the name of Mini Yoda.
There was a girl at my job yesterday that was talking to me and she had a Baby Yoda mask and I was like, oh, I love your Grogu. She's like, my what? Your Grogu. My what? I was like, no, I didn't say anything. But your mask is really cute. Yeah.
She ain't a real fan. She ain't a real fan.
My boyfriend.
The shit out of her.
Poser.
Beat her up.
She pissed me off. But, you know, okay. Since I'm in the company of you delicious milky white people, why? I do have a serious question. All of my friends know when they conceived their child, and all of my friends also know the day that they were conceived. Like I'll take my boyfriend for example.
Gross.
I think he told me that he might have been conceived like in 1990, like after an Iron Maiden concert or something like that. I hear these stories all the time. Of like conception. Do you know your conception dates?
No, I have no idea.
No.
I don't know my conception date because my parents were probably crackheads. I was adopted.
That's true. Yeah. Probably on
At least I know my mom was a crackhead. I don't know about my dad.
Yeah. Raw dogging crackheads having babies.
Tuesday.
Stray
is an example of how much adoption fucks
you
up. If you get adopted, you're trans, okay?
You just have to. I'm an example. I'm so sorry, Amanda, but I have to say now. I'm an example of why, if you don't want a baby, you should just
murder it.
Send it. No, put it in the woods for the wolves.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They'll end up with a gross tranny.
You know, I did listen to your podcast, and you were kind of, you know, I am a big fan of Lucas Mateus' podcast, so I did hear y'all on it. And after you're telling me the story, kind of, I always listen to him. I fucking love that show. And he doesn't understand why. And I'm like, bro, you say what I want to say. I'm just too nice to fucking say it because I don't ever want people to think like I'm already. Nobody can. It's already hard that people can't classify me. They're like, oh, what is she? Is she black or is she Hispanic? Well, she's got a Hispanic name, so I don't want to put her on my black show. I'll just hire the same 4 black people that I know, and we'll like raise them. So I don't really know. And then she talks about some off shit, so I don't even know. Let's just smile to her because I got it because she's
white. I don't think she's black or Mexican.
Who?
Honey, that's exactly my life. So anyway, yeah. So what was I? Oh yeah, I was gonna say I like his show a lot. I was listening to you guys, and I was like, you know, I was starting to get a little fearsome because I always wanted to adopt a child, and I was like, but what if they only kind of love me?
I was like that. It was so funny because when I was doing that podcast and I was like, when I was talking about how like, you know, I'm not sure if I actually like my mom or love her at all, but she unconditionally loves me. And then Lucas was like, let's keep talking about that for like 20 minutes. And I was like, oh shit, I feel like this sounds really bad, but also I might be a serial killer. Like I was like, I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
None of my family ever listens to this because I'm just like, yeah, I don't love her. I kind of hate her.
But it would be an interesting dynamic. I would walk around thinking that I only have like 2 enemies in this world, but then I adopt a child and now I have 3. It would be like, great.
Well, it's like you always have to wonder with your kid in general, if you have a biological kid, it's like, you always have that thing where you know, like, they're going to come for you. But if they're adopted, it's like, ooh, they're going to come for you, and they might actually kill you, too. Like, it's so weird being adopted because it's like for me, thinking about adopting a child, I would absolutely love the shit out of it. I'm not scared. I don't think that I wouldn't love it. Because like I love pets and I adopt them, right? But I would be scared, like, bitch, I've seen enough Lifetime movies where the kid like is trying to kill the parent, where I know I'm gonna adopt a kid and then immediately get a deadbolt on my bedroom door.
I thought about that. I was like, yeah, if I adopt a teenager, I hate to be that person, but
like I haven't ever tried to kill my mom, but I did definitely sneak into her room while she was sleeping and take all of her pills. So I don't know if I like, knowing myself, I don't know if I would leave my bedroom door unlocked if I had an adopted child.
Yeah, no, I think it's
padded. You can't see this because Amanda Ramirez's name is above it. I'm padded, like I'm autistic.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what my plan is. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll be the bad one. Maybe I'll take the child and I'll take it to fucking Kmart. Any Kmart that's still left. And
I was gonna say, are there any left?
I'll find one because you know what? They always had the best Easter outfits, and I will see him in a little white tux, and he'll be like,
No.
"This is Mama," and I'll be
No,
like,
Amanda, you just have to keep him a little bit sick, you know? Just keep him a little sick.
Well, we have to wrap up time right now because we got to get our next comic on stage. But please, everybody, give it up for Amanda Ramirez, everybody. Please give it up for her.
Excellent job, Amanda. Thank you
Excellent job.
really
"Thank
pushing
you
the
for having me.
boundaries.
You guys are awesome.
Post
Very
that
nice.
on Facebook.
Now you're going to stay on here when we bring out our third comedian, okay?
Got you."
All right. So our next comic coming to the stage. This guy is one of my best friends when I first came to Columbus. He was in many of my shows, but he was also one of my groomsmen for my wedding this year. One of the best sets I ever caught him doing. He did so well in this one show that nobody could follow him afterwards. So it was a show about a story about your life, and he told us a beautifully funny story about his father, and the whole audience was in his hands. Ty could do about anything he wanted on that stage, and they loved him. Laugh, 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 laugh. After that, nobody could follow him for 5 comics. The rest of the show bombed. And then here's my favorite moment. This is during it when he had his day job. Favorite moment. As the show's kind of 3 comics after him, I see him sneaking out the back. He puts his hoodie on. He has his butt bag. And I'm like, "Hey, Ty, where you going, buddy?" And he's like, "I got to go back to work. It's my next shift." And I'm like, "This is fucking 8 Mile. This is fucking 8 Mile right here. He is the Eminem of fucking Columbus right there."
Don't feel
Like,
sorry for this.
I can hear "Lose Yourself" as he walks away. I literally heard that song. So let's bring your next comic coming to the stage. Please give it up for my good friend, Mr. Ty Moore.
Oh, we're getting a little robot there. Nice.
I don't know what I was doing there. The thing when you look like when you look like this right here, when you look like Kurt Cobain if he died from high cholesterol, you don't want to be seen on the dance floor. You just kind of want to blend in. You don't want to, because the thing about white people is the only dances white people can do are instruction dances. Cha-cha slide, hokey pokey, chicken dance, etc. We need instructions. We don't know what to do without the formality of music. We can't just guess what to do. We need to be told. We don't naturally have rhythm for most songs. So when you're like that, you just kind of want to like find maybe 1 or 2 like little just grooves that can go to any song, and then you just weave your way to the back. That's how I've survived every wedding.
More than 2.
Thank you for that beautiful lead-in, Jesse. I feel like I'm about to ruin these people's expectations for after such a poetic intro. Thank you guys for having me on. You guys, everybody's been killing tonight. I've been cracking up backstage. Very, very funny stuff. I don't know how I'm going to follow Fetus Tuxedos, but I'm going to give it a try. So I was watching the news the other day, and they ran this special on pets and how everybody's like starting to kind of go back to work a little bit. And I didn't know this, but apparently pets, most specifically dogs, can get like separation anxiety, which is crazy to me. Like they get like to where they can't function when you're gone, and you feel so bad for them. Like I even was told the other day by Jesse that some dogs are on like antidepressants because they can get depressed. And on one hand, you like feel bad for them because dogs are so adorable, but on the other hand, how the fuck were these things ever wild animals? Seriously, think about that. They used to be hunters in the wild. And now they can't even survive an 8-hour shift. With central air, good heating, a couch, the food's fucking right over there. You just walk through. They have an app that I can download now so I can fucking watch you while I'm at work. I'm coming home every day. Like, why are you still like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. You're falling for the oldest magic trick in the book. Get over it. God, it's 8 hours. You know their ancestors are just befuddled. Like, what happened?
What happened?
Their fucking cousins, wolves, they think they're a bunch of bitches. You know that shit. You know the wolves just got their Christmas cards from the dogs this year. And they're like, fucking check out Carl and his nice little tree sweater. What a pussy. I get it, though. I mean, you know, to be fair, like, pit bulls and sweaters are the most adorable things on the planet. You can't argue that.
Pull it off. Act like
They're
nothing.
absolutely adorable. Their heads are too big for the sweater. It's fucking adorable every time. You can't argue it. And I get it, too. Like, you know, in America, we love our pets. We really do. Some people can't even travel without their pets. And I don't know how I feel about that. Because on one hand, I want everybody to be able to have a safe flight and travel with the least amount of anxiety as they can. But on the other hand, I was flying to Florida 2 years ago, and as I was boarding the plane, this lady was boarding the plane with her pet support Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua was shaking. Like, like Jesse, you probably know this. Those little dogs, when they go outside to shit this time of year, and they're just like, whoa. Like the Chihuahua was more nervous than the lady who was flying. Lady who was flying, they fucking knew who she was. Like, oh yes, Beth, right over here, 3C. We have your aisle seat. The pretzels will be waiting on you. She's like, oh, thank you, Kimberly. They fucking are on a first name basis. Why do you need it? You're just bringing. But then, you know, I stopped myself and I realized at the time it was 2018 and I needed to have a more open mind about things, right? I don't know. Maybe the Chihuahua put the ticket and brought along her support human. Who am I to assume, you know? You guys know Beth. Sorry, this is my 3rd time flying. Dog, how it got on with the password. Do you think security questions are like, what's your mother's ancestry? What's your father-in-law's breed? Oh, is he a Doberman or a Shih Tzu? I couldn't ever remember. All right, we got way off topic there. Sorry about that. So it's been a weird, pretty much, we're coming up on about a year from the time that the first case was allegedly documented. Depending on who you ask, some people might have had it at Christmas 2017 because who gives a fuck about facts anymore? But, you know, this last year, I think that we've all can honestly admit that we've gotten on the internet and Googled some weird shit, right?
Sure.
Like, for example, one day I Googled who's the tallest guy that ever lived. That's exactly how my dumbass typed it into Google. Is who is the tallest guy that ever lived? Not even a punctuation at the end of it. I graduated college, but I write like a fucking stone 3rd grade. Unbelievable. I pull up the Google though, and it turns out that the tallest guy that they've ever recorded, his name is Robert Wadlow, and he was 8'11".
Wow.
8'11". You know what the worst part about being 8'11" is?
What?
Being born before the NBA and died before the NBA was invented. That was a terrible way to word that. Sorry, I've had a lot of black labels backstage. Let me
They're in a
clarify.
can now.
Basically, this guy was born, he lived from 1916 to 1940, and the NBA wasn't invented until 1944. This guy was 8'11" and nothing to do.
Oh.
This motherfucker was tall as fuck for no reason. And it's bullshit. You know what I mean? And I kind of feel bad for the guy. Like, he was just fucking tall as shit in 1923 for nothing. A 6'8" 3rd grader, and the schoolhouses back then were like 6'2" max. You know? Fucking Little House and Big Bob on the Prairie was the spin-off because he was too tall for every frame they had in his life ever. I felt bad, dude. I read the guy actually tried to kill himself, but he ended up just walking out of his bedroom window. That's Cruel, I know. That's very cruel.
Oh my God!
Hey, hear me out. He's 8'11" for no reason. Who the fuck was in charge of distributing height that day? Like, I want to talk to the person in charge who was giving this guy 8'11" and couldn't spare me 4 inches, so that way I don't have to cry every time I get on Twitter and read, if you're under 6 feet, swipe left. You could make that guy 6'7". He could live a comfortable life, potentially end up making the NBA during its formative years because he's a healthy height. And you could have given the leftovers to me and like 4 other short dudes. So we could go to bed without tears in our fucking nose every third night of the week. That's all I got to say. Let's kick it to the floor.
All right, let's all give it up for Ty Moore, everybody. Ty Moore.
Yeah,
Great job, Ty. Great job, Ty. So we've got about 10 minutes left. We've got all 3, technically 4, of our comedians here on the show. So what I want to do is I want to ask each of you the same question. So Ty is currently featured. I'm going to start with him. Ty, what is one piece of advice you have for somebody brand new entering stand-up comedy?
Oh, I'm so happy I get to go first because I'm going to take the easiest answer, but it's also my favorite one. Seriously, don't worry about bombing.
That's good advice.
Do not worry about it. It will suck. Absolutely. Like your first few, it might even make you cry. I don't know. It hurt me so much sometimes when I would bomb early in my career. It would hurt me so much that I couldn't cry. I was past the point of crying.
Yeah.
I was that dead inside because of how awful sets would go. You know what I mean? But nowadays, you bomb, and it's just like, I'll have another open mic tomorrow or the next day. Obviously, the Rona, big Roan dog, shut that shit down daily. But, you know, you look at it now, there's a couple weekly mics, and you're like, all right, well, this one didn't go great. Let's just fucking go to the next one. It's fine. By the time I'm home, I have a Crunchwrap Supreme in my right hand, and you can't fucking tell me shit. You know?
Boom, there you go, man. There it is.
Don't worry about bombing. It's cool. Try new things. Bomb. Fuck it. You'll get better.
All right.
Great advice from the man himself, Ty. Thank you, Ty. Let's put up Amanda now. Amanda, we need your advice this is for someone who's never, ever once done stand-up comedy. They want to go in and do it. It's going to be their first show. And they come to you and say, Amanda, give me some advice on how and what to expect and do with comedy. What is the advice you give them?
All right. Well, the first thing I'd say is speak slowly. That's really important. I have a couple of friends that kind of contacted me and started, because they had contacted me and they wanted me to kind of see, hey, how did I do? I think I bombed. I did terrible. I was like, no, you didn't. Your shit's really funny, but you need to slow down. Just slow down and let it marinate. Tell the story the same way you told me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try, I know sometimes when you get on a platform, you get all excited and you can't breathe and you're talking real fast, but I'm like, I need you to have a conversation and tell a story to these people. Tell that same shit the way you told me. That's like the first and foremost, like number one rule of like what I tell anybody. That and make yourself laugh first. If you're not making yourself laugh, what the fuck are you doing?
Totally agree with that. Agree with that. And I definitely agree also with the talking fast. All of you have heard me perform at some point. I seriously had that problem. I kind of corrected it, but never really totally got rid of it. So I completely agree with that. It's something that I think a lot of performing artists, whether you're doing stand-up comedy or doing poetry slams or you're doing inspirational reading, whatever it is, that's really hard to master for a lot of people. So that's excellent advice.
Great.
Thanks, Amanda. All right, let's put the couple on now. Let's see what they got for us. What is your advice for the fresh fish, for the John Jacobs?
What I would say is get up as many times a week as you can. My first year, I would get up sometimes 12 times a week because it was a possibility at the time in Columbus.
Yeah.
So like when you're doing that every week, I've had comics that I'm not going to name them, but they asked me, like, how did you get so good this quickly? Because I was only 8 months in. I'm like, well, I'm getting up 12 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why. It makes a difference. It gives you more hours on stage. So yeah, I would just say get up as much as you possibly can. If you're serious about it, get up every opportunity that you can.
I agree, and that's actually some advice you gave me the first time we met. You literally told me that exact same thing.
Up.
So you just got to do it. You got to do it, and keep doing it. All right.
Okay,
what's yours?
As the babiest of stand-up comedy of this whole group, I have like 2, and I'm just gonna throw them in because I love attention. So, and you can't stop me. So
Yes.
I'm just going to say I agree with all of your guys' advice because that's something that I've had to utilize. Like especially the talking fast thing was very hard for me. Like I struggle with that a lot. Because I would be like, oh, this is going to, when I performed it to myself, it was 5 minutes. But when I do it on stage, I am so like nervous that I did it. And all of a sudden 2 minutes passes and I'm like, oh shit, what else do I say?
Yeah.
So that's a very good one. I would say like for me, number 1, record all your sets.
Ooh,
one thing that I learned from this
Good
one.
advice. Good advice.
Record everything and listen to it religiously. And my like genuine advice coming from myself is because I have been performing for literally 10 years before I started doing stand-up, I know stage presence. I know everything about that. So my thing that was very helpful to people that I've told so far is learn how to intro and outro yourself. Learn acting. Learn how to enter the stage and exit the stage within your set because that looks better.
That's excellent advice. Excellent advice. And I 100% agree.
That's a piece of advice I rarely hear anybody give, and it's very vital because people.
You know why you rarely hear anybody give it? Because like I just said, I've been literally doing drag, doing comedy within drag, and then doing burlesque for 10 years. So it's like, honestly, I didn't even realize that I did that in that kind of format that I just explained to you until Nick told me that at one of the Drunken Head shows. And he was like, hey, have you done acting? And I'm like, no, but I feel like I'm a good actor. And he's like, oh, I just noticed you do this thing that literally none of them do, is you just know how to intro and outro yourself. And he explained to me in depth. And I was like, wow, thank you for telling me that, because honestly, that is like the only thing that I had an advantage of, like, compared to everyone else. I was like, thank you for telling me that, because I've been nervous, you know what I mean? But it's like, I already had stage presence. I already knew how to intro and outro. And that I took that to heart when he told me that. And it's really just, it's something that I loved because I don't even try to do it. I just already know it.
You just do it. It's that switch that you
flip. So I try to tell everybody, I'm just like, hey, like, just practice that.
That's amazing and excellent.
I mean, you're a well-rounded performer. I mean, like I said, you have different hats that you wear, you know, and I think it's very important for a lot of performers to step out of their lane and try different lanes, because you learn people. Like, there's a lot of things I learned from improv that I brought into stand-up. A lot of things of acting I learned in, you know, it blends, and that's
it's so weird too. Like, I was so nervous to try stand-up for both the reasons the other two said. Like, those were like, I was like so scared about it, and then like I realized, oh no, I can hold my own just because I have already been doing another aspect of like entertainment.
Yeah. No, and that's brilliant. And one of the things I'm very excited about this episode is I'll get to post a lot of these advice pieces on our YouTube page and share them out on Facebook, because I think that these are very important for everybody to hear. So thank you so much for sharing with that. Sharing us. Perfect.
Yeah.
Anyways, right now we're at the bottom of our hour. I just want to give a big, big, big shout out to everybody right now for joining us for this first time. We're experimenting with this, and I think it went very well. So Amanda, Ty, Estrella, Cecil, thank you so much.
Thank you guys
for doing this. Thank you so much. And please, everybody, show some love in the comment section. And please make sure you do one thing for me, and it's very important, is make sure you like, friend, follow everybody on this show. All right, so so I'm going to put up their names real fast. Right now, my computer is acting slow for some reason.
Hopefully they're spelled correctly this time.
Which is just the open mic equivalency of mispronouncing a name. That's all it is. That's all it is. For some reason, they're not popping up, but that's okay. If you're watching this video, everything is
right now.
Oh, there they are.
They're here.
You had them up earlier, brother.
Yep, Cecil's name.
Yeah, everybody's been on.
There we go.
There's Amanda.
Don't follow me if you're a weirdo or a dick.
There it is. There it is.
And there's Ty. There we go.
I wish we had like theme show outro
There's
music right
time.
now.
Very good.
We are working on that, Ty.
We're
working on
Right
things.
now, but before we get out of here, we have a big show that we need to announce. John, since you put this all together, can you please do the honors?
All right. So on next week's show, 7 p.m. Wednesday, we have Eric Walker. You might remember him from a little Star Wars film called The Ewok Adventure Caravan of Courage, and then also The Ewoks Battle for Endor. He played Mace Tawani. He is going to be on the show with us next week talking about all the production stories, what it was like working on a Star Wars set, what it's like being a part of the Star Wars franchise. Eric is such a cool guy. He runs an awesome podcast. He's very active with the fans and the community, and we just cannot wait to talk to him. So you will not want to miss this episode. It's going to be fantastic. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m., Eric Walker.
You heard it here, everybody. You heard it here. And I want to make sure we give a quick shout out to our other important people here. Number one, Max Rowland, our graphics designer. Thank you so much. We wouldn't have a sweet ass logo without him. And I also want to thank one other very important person, Vance, the producer, who, what can we say? He produces the goods. All right. And make sure one last thing. He does. And one last thing, as always, subscribe and like us on YouTube. But until then, I'm Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been sitting at the grown-ups table. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night. Give it up for the comics, everybody. Woo! Give it up for them. Give it up. Give it up for them.